Hello and welcome to this amazing podcast session. I am Asa Leveaux and you are tuned into Seven-Figure Conversations with Asa Leveaux. You are in the right place at the right time for the right reason. I promise. If you have no idea really is what I do, you're like, Asa, okay, so you're a podcast host, but what do you do for real? So what I do for real is I catapult audacious entrepreneurs toward their next million by providing brand clarity, business automations, and bankable deliverables. I will say that again, because that's something that I say often at networking events, at rooftop events, at even elevators, even though it's not meant to be an elevator pitch. This is something that I call the icon money statement. So my icon money statement is that I catapult audacious entrepreneurs toward their next million by providing brand clarity, business automations, and bankable deliverables. And today, I get to not focus so much on that because I have somebody amazing, somebody that is going to, let's just say this, get your life right. And I don't mean just your life, but the visual, the aesthetic part of your life. Now, don't already cut off the episode because you think this is all going to be fluff. Believe me, it's not. When you have someone who has multiple decades of experience, when you have somebody that has published a book, when you have somebody that has created a multi-million-dollar brand, yes, I said it with emphasis because it's true. When you have someone like that in your space, you stop and you listen and you find out, okay, so if this is how they were able to create success for themselves, what nuggets, what gems, I don't even call them nuggets. I really call them sweet rolls because they're tasty and digestible. What sweet rolls are there for me? Well, if you stick around for the next 30, 40 minutes, I promise you that you will be able to get that question answered. So without further ado, I would love to introduce and bring on Michelle Cunningham. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Asa. I'm so happy to be here. You're amazing. Such an honor.
Thank you. And likewise. So as you all know by now, I'm not a regular podcast host. And so I really am intentional and curious and nosy about how you were as a child and how everyone that comes to me were a child, because I always want to be able to connect the dots. Like, how are you as dope and wonderful as you are now? What was the 7-year-old child like? Was there any level of dopeness that you could see there? So without further ado, my first question is, going back to 7-year-old little Michelle, what did she want to be in life?
Yeah, it's a great question. So 7 years old, my parents had just divorced. My mom was a new single mom and we were really broke. And so much of my childhood was really broke. And I was actually listening to one of your other podcast interviews and we had such similar stories. It was so interesting, but I come from really humble beginnings. Like my life goal as a kid was to be able to afford Pantene shampoo. Okay, just like that was my goal because I could afford White Rain and Suave, but I wanted to be rich like the kids who could afford Pantene. And so there was 3 of us kids. My mom was a single mom. We didn't have a lot of money. And anything I wanted in life, for the most part, I had to raise money to get it, right? Field trips, new clothes, whatever. And so that is my childhood. That's where I come from. And I just realized like the people that had money had choices that I didn't have. So I was really on a mission to like, how do I make money so I can have choices and then I can do awesome things. So that was a big driver for me.
So how did 7-year-old Michelle, coming from living with a single mom, not being able to afford the Pantene, and as having 3 sisters, I can literally see the White Rain in the bathroom. So I can see that for myself. So what was, I'd say, the first of many action steps that you took in order to get to this place that you are now?
Yeah. So I paid my way through college. And when I was in college, my buddy's like, dude, like if you get into pharmaceutical sales, you can make a lot of money, but it's impossible to get into. And so like, for some reason, his statement like highly motivates me that I must become a pharmaceutical sales rep because I can make a lot of money and it's impossible to get into. And I do. I end up with Merck Pharmaceuticals. And while I'm at Merck, I realized, oh my gosh, it's like so boring working for someone. And I'm like, this doesn't feel right in my heart. Yet I'm making great money with a free company car and an expense account and a laptop. And I'm like, this is terrible. But I smiled and did it anyway for 2 years. But at that time, my coworker was like me, was very entrepreneurial minded. And I was like, we'd be on calls or driving somewhere together. He's like, there's got to be a better way. I'm like, I know. What is it? He's like, actually, my wife, she had just started with a direct sales company. And he's like, she's selling on the side, making more money. And I'm like, I like money. I like money. So he's like, yeah, you should try it. So I go to a hotel room with her. There's this event they were hosting. Lady there making six figures. Another one's a millionaire. And I'm like, dude, this is either a total scam or this is fantastic. So I go home and I tell my mom, and mom's like, that's totally a scam. Those people are weird. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to join. But then a week later, I remember I'm 23, and at 23, you don't have to listen to your mom. So I sign up anyway. But back then, that was 2002, Asa. And in 2002, there's no text message and there's no Facebook. So they're like, you're going to walk up to strangers in parking lots. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like a shy girl from humble beginnings. Like, that's horrifying. I'm not doing that. So I don't. For the next 6 years, I stay in my safe corporate job, dreaming about this other business. And then at 29, I get fed up enough. I know I one day want to have kids. I don't want to work this, 80-hour week hustle that I'm doing, killing myself. And so I found a lady that worked for the same company in my town. And I said, hi, you don't know me. I've been with this company for 6 years doing nothing, but maybe you could show me. And sure enough, she did. She said, come on over. I'll show you the ropes. So she taught her name is Maggie. She changed my life forever. I sometimes cry when I talk about Maggie because she was a pivotal character in my life. But she believed in me. She said, you're made for more. I believe you can do this. Here's the strategy. She's like, and by the way, I'm also a shy girl from humble beginnings, and one up on you, I suffer from social anxiety. And so I looked at her and I'm like, sweet, you're like super broken too. Okay, if you can do it, super broken here, I can do it. And so she showed me what to do. And 6 months after meeting her, I went from no customers to 300 direct sales customers. I went from no one on my team to 50 new reps on my team. I went from no company car to earning the company car. I went from not being a leader to becoming a top 1% leader. And it happened in a 6-month period. And I made this vow in that 6 years of being stuck. I'm like, if I ever get unstuck, I will not keep it a secret. You will hear me roar, and I will tell everybody, even though I'm an introvert, I'm going to tell everyone how I did it. And so that is then what I did, is I started sharing my secrets on YouTube. And that simple decision is what changed my life and my business and my trajectory. Everything changed after that.
Okay, so that was great. If those of you who are listening to this, if you aren't able to see me, I'm smiling. The reason why I'm smiling is because I just think it's amazing when people finally, in regardless of how many years or months or weeks it takes, but when they finally, you're like, you know what? I'm going for it. Like, I'm just going to go for it. And I believe for me, that feels like, and I haven't read it yet, but it feels like the foundation of your book, Do It Anyway, Girl. Like, it feels like you were literally saying that to yourself. Like, this is what you want, this is what you desire in life, you just got to do it. Are you broke? Yep, do it anyway. Do you have self-esteem? A lot of it right now in this space? Nope, do it anyway. So is that a foundational or pivotal moment that helped you create the book, Do It Anyway, Girl?
Yeah. One of the key things that Maggie said to me is, and it was so pivotal. She's standing in front of us. There was like 10 of us at her house. And she said, listen, successful women feel the fear and do it anyway. And I remember being like, really? Like, is that, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that. I really thought that successful people came from wealthy families, had everything handed to them, and that's why they were successful. It was truly, I was 29 when I'm learning this, right? So I was like, oh, cool. Okay. Well, then I'm going to be fearful and I'm going to go do this. And then let's see what happens. And so that's what I did. I started to step out in fear, but that is the name of the book. Do It Anyway, Girl is definitely part of that.
So when you started with the direct marketing, how were you able, and you said you were on YouTube, so did you find that you loved to sell more, or did you feel like you loved the video, the delivering of the education? Which one of those seemed to be, if not easier, more enjoyable for you?
Yeah, it actually transitioned. So as I was having success as a network marketer, I taught my team how to do it. And so we grew to be over 1,000 people on my team. We sold 8 figures of products. Like, that little machine kept growing. But as I'm doing that machine, I'm like, let me show other people on YouTube. So I'm making the videos, and it was like really fun. And this was a very key moment, but I got a phone call from a friend, and she's like, you were just on the Today Show. And I'm like, what? I'm like, no, I was not. And she's like, you were. Your YouTube was on the Today Show. And I'm like, stop it. I was like, that's so cool. And then a few weeks later, a guy called me and he's like, I'm the CEO of this direct sales company. Our sales reps love your training. Could you come out and speak? And I'm like, sure. He's like, what's your fee? And I'm like, fee? Like, well, I couldn't even believe this, right? That someone's going to pay me for my thoughts. But I'm like, okay. So I gave him my fee, and sure enough, he's like, no problem. Sent me this crazy amount of money. I go off and I do a training, and he said, as he hung up the phone, can you bring along your training program? And I'm like, I don't have one. I'm like, but don't admit that, Michelle. Don't say it. Just yes. Yes. Great. I will. So I hang up and I'm like, oh no. So I create CDs. Literally my first CDs is so funny, but I created these CDs right here, and I brought them along to the event and I sold them, got home, and then I started selling them online. And when I started selling them online, and it surpassed the income I was making as a network marketer, and I was like, whoa, like I'm making videos, I'm helping a ton of people, I'm making content that they can buy that helps them even more. Like this is like super addicting. So I kept creating, and that whole year, really everything started to shift where I was like, I really like making videos, and I really like helping people, and I really like making content. So there was a shift in 2019 where I was doing both. And then I was like, oh, I like video way more. And this is like way fulfilling, way easier, takes less time, and I'm impacting way more lives. So I love video even more.
Well, let me be very clear. You show up on video very well. And for those of you who are hearing this rather than experiencing this episode visually, let me just tell you, Michelle came to play as far as this video is concerned. Like I myself am like, okay, now what camera is she using? I'm trying to find out what's the logo on that mic. And I'm like she's you can tell she's been doing this for year after year after year, and not just doing it, but doing it with a level of excellence that definitely even makes me think, okay, there has to be a way for Michelle to help me. But before we even get there, my next question is, okay, so CDs. So I'm always perked up when I hear sales. So when you said you started doing CDs, so you have a multi-million-dollar business. How in the whole world did you sell CDs? Because I'm thinking about the cost. I'm thinking about what it takes to create the CD. I'm thinking about the profit margin on the CD and the volume that it would take to create a multi-million-dollar business. How did you do that?
Yeah, great question. So I didn't know what I was doing. And the only thing I knew how to create then was a CD. And it was kind of when CDs were starting to go out. Yet I still managed to sell thousands, probably tens of thousands of those CDs. But I would get them from atomicdisc.com, right? I then learned find a local CD creator like near you so you don't have to pay for shipping. But I got them for $1 each. They had an atomic eco pack. So I'd get them for $1 each. I'd sell them for 17. And then I had an upsell. If you buy 2, you get them for another 17. So I'd make $34 on a $3 expense. So it's actually relatively profitable. And what's crazy is I was so green in 2019. I went into the ClickFunnels community because that's where I was selling them on ClickFunnels, because I learned that funnels sell stuff. Just made sense to me. Websites are dead. Funnels sell things. So clickfunnels.com. I go over to ClickFunnels group and I'm like, hey, does anyone know how to run Facebook ads? Like this, I'm that green. Like I've never heard of anyone running, and people inbox like dies with like every Facebook ad manager in the world. They're like, we'll help you. So this one guy, I don't know him from Adam, but he charges $7,000, which I totally got ripped off, but I didn't, because gave him $7,000, not knowing what I was doing. He ran the ads. We made $70,000. I think it was a profit of like 40 grand on this $17 CD, which is not normal. Like he was like, this is not normal. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not normal. This is awesome. Let's do more of it. So it was bananas. So that's how I started. And I was like, this just works. And it was a funnel I made myself, pretty clueless, but I just happened to capture everything you need to make the funnel work, which was a great headline, a great compelling story, really getting into their emotion and their problems, and then solving the problem and then solution, my CD. And so that's how I started. Okay. Right. I now realize that was like a little bit of luck there, but that was the beginning.
Said 70 grand, everyone.
70 grand.
Ladies, gentlemen, humans of the world. Michelle just said, I'll repeat what she said. So, because a lot of us need to realize that you just need to do it anyway. So, and doing it anyway, what do you need? You need a page. You just need a page. Now, of course, ClickFunnels is the behemoth in the landing page industry. There are others that may not cost as much, but get your landing page. Ask somebody for some help as far as ads. Now, you may be able to assist them financially. You may have to do a bartering thing if that's a possibility for them and they desire that. Don't make people wrong just because they don't want to help you in your bartering stage of life. But get it out there and do what they tell you to do. Like if they need creative, ad creatives, if they need a image or a video, do the thing. And I don't know if you're going to get 70 grand like Michelle, but you're definitely going to get something just from taking action. So I got to know, when you finally looked at that 70 grand, what did that feel like?
I was like, "Whoa, this is addicting." It was like so addicting, right? And like the joke was like, "I can buy Pantene now." So
you can buy Pantene for
I can
sure.
now buy Pantene, so that's good.
For sure. Okay, so I now understand how video has been such a success in your business, and I definitely understand how CDs have done that. And now that, because you started, I mean, you started doing this 2019, maybe you thought you were this, but I'm going to ask just for clarity. Did you know you were a digital course creator when you were selling CDs, or did you not really understand it until years later?
Yeah, in my mind, like that was more of a physical product that I wanted to actually take my knowledge and make digital courses, right? And so
Right.
I did the CD because I didn't know how to park a digital course somewhere initially, right? I was doing this all by myself. So then I ended up a few months later hiring a different guy who was like, I can't believe you're doing that well with that CD. That's not normal. But like, you need to create a training. And I'm like, well, I do know how to do Facebook Lives really good. I sell $20,000 as a direct seller, and I recruit 20 people in 45 minutes. He's like, great, make that a course. I'm like, okay. So I make a course that May, and that was my first digital course. And it was $297. And I'm like, dude, no one's paying $297. Like, no one's going to do it. He's like, I promise you they will. Because over the years, I had this YouTube channel. But the one thing I learned about that YouTube channel, and this is the key takeaway for all of you, is with that YouTube channel, I was building an email list. Even though I wasn't selling anything, I wasn't doing anything, I had this email list. So when that guy met me, I had an email list of 12,000 people. For years, I didn't really email them. I didn't sell anything. I would occasionally make a YouTube and be like, hey, friend, I made a new video. But I didn't understand that people are on your email list to buy. Okay. So if someone's on your email list, we have stuff available for them to get to the next level. So he says this 297 is going to sell. It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm at my friend's house. He's like, I'm going to launch it out right now. I'm like, if we sell two, you're a hero. Like, I can't even imagine. Right. So he launches it out. I'm standing in her kitchen. It's like $1,000. Few minutes later, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, end of dinner, $11,000, driving home, $15,000, next day, $27,000. We end the weekend at $52,000 in sales. And I'm like, stop it. I couldn't. I was like, so excited, like a small child, so excited. So then I was like, okay, we are going to do this. I got to figure this out even more. So that was May 2019. And that year we just continued to make a few other things, did just shy of $1 million in revenue with that as our model. So different digital courses that I put out to the world, plus added Facebook ads. Facebook ads have been a huge part of my success. Huge.
I am cheesing like it's me. I am because it's just really beautiful to watch an entrepreneur go after something, and then just by taking the action steps, it really is just taking the action steps. Do what you know to do when you know how to do it. Money loves speed, so do it as quick as you possibly can. So that has really touched me today. So thank you for sharing that. And you talked about one secret that has helped you build your business. Do you at least have a few more? Yeah, because I believe our listeners definitely desire some action steps that they can take, even though, let me be very clear, I've gotten around 10 action steps from you already, but just to make sure that it's clear for them, what are some more that you may have?
Yeah. So a few action steps. I think on every piece of content that you're putting out, try to use a good little microphone. My favorite little microphone is on my phone is a Movo microphone. It's MOVO. This little dude, he sticks right into my phone, and it's wireless. So when I walk away from my phone, I have good audio. And this thing's like $70. And like it makes really good audio. Same with like I'm using the Shure M7, Shure M7. It's a podcast microphone. And it's $250. So it's a little bit pricey, but for years I built this multi-million-dollar brand on a Blue Yeti microphone. I just recently upgraded. So you can get away with a Blue Yeti microphone. And my webcam, to answer your question, Asa, is the Lumina webcam, Lumina. And you can affect the light that comes into it, and you can blur your background a little bit. So that's actually my office behind me. It looks like it's blurred, like it's a Zoom background, but it's actually my office. But Lumina webcam creates great, like just looks so much clearer versus really dark when you use the one that's embedded in your computer. And so at a starting point, really great video. And then I didn't know what I was doing, but my second step would be to go to clickfunnels.com and grab all 4 of Russell Brunson's books. If you truly want to become a digital course creator, start reading his books and immerse yourself in that ecosystem. I went to their first event, Funnel Hackers Live. I met people there, and the people were like crazy entrepreneurs and YouTubers. I've met some of my best friends at that event who dramatically changed my business. I got connected with a guy that I went with that was helping me build my business, found another Facebook ad manager there. They've become my dear friends today. They connected me to a guy that helped me build more of my funnels. So I write my funnels. He puts them all together. He became my tech guy. Like the relationships, and then it just that ecosystem is how I found everybody that helps me. I haven't had to hire customer service because we had so many things coming in. We have 38,000 students, so can't just be me. So in every little piece where it was like, oh boy, this is growing. Yikes, what do I do? Like every time it was growing, I was like, okay, who do we need to hire now? So we just hire like customer service. She's $1,000 a month. She handles everything. And then my funnel guy was this flat rate, to handle anything. So I found people in the process, but I didn't have them all to start. And I learned a lot of it myself. Like I'm not really techie, so I can like build a funnel, but I don't know how to link it up on the back. Right. So you can find people. And in the beginning, you know who I used? I used funnelfixit.com. It's led by a guy named Nathan. I met him at Funnel Hackers, but I was like, I'm dumb. I don't know what I'm doing. And he's like, don't you worry. We've got a whole team. So funnelfixit.com, when I was new, I was like, make it work. It's broken. And they would fix it. So you can start with a super lean team. I still operate with an incredibly lean team. And it's just crazy. It's crazy what we do. So that's what I would say as far as some tips to get it rocking and rolling.
Thank you for that. So everyone, Lumina webcam, Movo microphone. Make sure that you go to ClickFunnels for those books. I've read a couple of those books, so Michelle is not steering you wrong at all. But the fact that you went to the first one, you went to the first Funnel Hacker Live?
It wasn't the first one, but it was within that year or two. I mean, it was one of the newer ones.
Wow. So have you been to one recently?
I was the one last year. I'm going to be there this year. Do you go? Can we go?
I've never gone.
Oh, you got to go. It's so fun.
But I've actually started thinking, like, do I want to? So I'm using ConvertKit CRM. So I was like, do I need to be using their landing pages, or do I just need to use ClickFunnels landing pages? I mean, they're the beast at at pages. So I've used them before, and I was like, I don't know, but they're good. They're good. So,
there's a lot of good ones. I get it.
There are.
Right? Yeah.
But I want that 2 comma award.
Well, I know I got the awards right here. So.
Oh, yeah, I know you got them. I know.
I'm going to get the 10X one, and then I'm going to be like, I'm just going to tape it to my back and walk around with it.
I definitely, but yeah, this is the year for my 2 comma award for sure. And so if you're listening to this, yes, I just got off of a tangent and it's completely okay. Because as we begin to wrap up, I know that I have said already that your video is flawless to me. And your audio, of course, I can hear you well. It sounds very crisp. What would be, besides the tools that you provided, when someone's saying, Michelle, I have the tools, I bought the tools, I don't know what to necessarily do with the tools. I don't even know necessarily what to do in between time of me creating enough sales for me to actually buy the tools. What can I do now? So with where they are now, do you have anything to support them in this moment?
Yeah. So when I first started, like what started me on making videos was I started following a girl on YouTube. Her name was Alejandra Costella, and it popped up as the most organized home in America. And I remember being like, wow, this was many years ago, right? And I watched that video. I'm like, wow, she is really organized. But I was also like, man, she just is talking and like showing her house. Like, I feel like I could do that. And then like she has brown hair. And I was like, she has brown hair. I have brown hair. And she talks. I feel like I could do this. Like that was like my logic. So then I was like, all right, I'm going to become an organizing guru. This is how I started. You could still find the channel, you guys. It is laughable. Go to youtube.com/she is organized. Now, what's laughable about that is I don't like organizing. I like to be done organizing, but the act of organizing irritates me. So I tell my husband when I start an organizing channel, he's like, you? So it's like this funny, like doesn't even make sense. And I share that because I start this channel, but I'm just like figuring myself out, right? I start the channel, I make some videos, I get 900 subscribers somehow, I get a bunch of likes. And that was enough for me to realize, you know what? I think people like me. Okay. And so I would say to all of you, just start with something. Even if you're like, hey, I'm just going to make 6 videos. That's what I did. I made 6 videos and then I quit because I realized I hate organizing. Right. But it gave me enough confidence to say, okay, what do I actually like? Meanwhile, I'm in network marketing and I'm crushing it. And everyone's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you? And it's like the most obvious channel would be to answer all their questions. So some of you are getting hit with questions every single day and over and over and over. That is your so obvious channel. So then I'm like, I'm going to help women in network marketing. That's what I'm going to do. That's it. So I put a little banner up. Hi, I'm Michelle. I help women in network marketing live their dream life or something like that. I don't think much more about it than that. And I just start creating videos around that. So questions that would come in, I would just answer the video. So that was literally how I started. And now when I'm like, I don't know what to do for a video idea, do you want to hear a secret I learned at Funnel Hackers Live?
Most definitely.
This is so good. I'm standing in line at Starbucks. Okay, this is why I go to Funnel Hackers Live. And there's a guy next to me and he's a YouTuber. And I'm like, you're a YouTuber? I'm like, what's your channel? So I open it up. He has 500,000 followers. I'm like, stop it. I'm like, I need your autographs. Like I go crazy. So he's so cool. And he was like, so when we become buddies, right? So then we hop on the phone call because the way I sell and the way he sells is totally different, but we make similar income. So I was like, here's how I do it. And he's like, oh, here's how I do it. So we were sharing all these great ideas. Well, he says, I was like, but how do I grow on YouTube? He's like, you want to know the secret? I'm like, yes. He's like, I hired a guy and he told me everything. I'm like, okay, what is it? He's like, go and find videos that are super like in your space that are super popular. They got 1 million views. They got 100,000, 200. He goes, and what you do is you copy their title almost identical. You can change a little, but almost identical. You don't even have to watch their video. So there's no plagiarizing going on here. You don't have to watch their video, but you make it so similar. And I'm like, is that cheating? He's like, promise you, it's not cheating. He's like, this is what people do. I'm like, okay. So I have been doing this and I kid you not, they get 10 times the views on that strategy alone. So I don't even go watch what the person says. Like I watched one of Dan Locke's video. Dan Locke is super intense sales guy. I am like super not. I'm like, I'm really shy and introvert and here's how I sell, like from inside a paper bag. Like, okay, so our strategies are not going to be the same. But I looked at one of his videos and it was like, how do you overcome the objection? I'm not interested. I don't care what Dan Locke said because he probably is like, you lock them up and you make them buy, right? Whereas I'm like, hey, if they're not interested, like just don't sell to them. Go find someone else. Like that was my advice. So, but it got so many views, that video. So I share that with you because that's a little strategy. If you're like, I don't know where to start, just go and look for ideas and then jot down some titles. And then when you have some spare time, you're like, okay, today I'm doing that title. I'm going to crank that out. Let's get it done. So that is a little tip.
No, that was gold.
That
was gold. I've as someone who definitely doesn't like plagiarism because I write. I've written every book I've ever done. I've almost written every press release I've ever created. So as someone like that, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. But now, no, just hearing it, I could do that. Mm-hmm. And I have advice for everything when it comes to business. Believe me, as long as I've been in this game since 22, yeah, I have advice for everything. So that was great. Thank you for that, for sure. And I was also, with that information that you have, is there anything that you have for our listeners to get more of you? Because this 30 minutes with you is definitely not enough. Where can they go to get more?
Yeah. So if you head to my website, michellcunningham.com, I truly believe that websites are dead. But when you get to my website, you'll see it's links to many of my funnels and landing pages, right? So it's a kind of a hub of all my stuff. So you can grab lots of free stuff there. And then you can also grab any of my, there's courses on there. There's a lot of my different trainings. So there's all different levels in my training. Some people are only like high ticket. I have every ticket. I got little ones and big ones and mediums and masterminds. I got everything because I like to help everyone.
Nice. So remember, everyone go to michellcunningham.com. Michelle, it has been a great, great pleasure, honor, adventure experience with you today. I'm definitely going to give you one last chance. If there's anything else you would like to provide our audience, this is your time.
Yeah. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you all my book for free. So if you'd like my book, you can go to doitanyway.girl.com. You just pay shipping. So that's gift number one. And gift number two is just a thought for you. The thought is this, that what other people think about you is none of your business. And one person will not dictate your success. So you just go out and do it anyway.
Agreed. Totally agreed. So everyone, besides going to michellcunningham.com, go to doitanyway.girl.com. Pay for the shipping, like literally pay for the shipping. She's literally telling you how she's created a multi-million-dollar brand. I mean, she went on the Today Show and didn't even know it. I think that's a true testament to her acumen in business, her acumen around video and digital courses. Please, not for me, this is for you. Please go to doitanyway.girl.com. Get the book. Like, get the book yesterday. Like, it's about time. And Michelle, thank you so much for coming on. Again, it's been my pleasure. You're more than welcome to come back at any time for any reason. For those of you all who would love to stay connected, please remember that you can join the Icon Nation. That's iconnation.com, where what happens? Well, where icons become icons, because you're already iconic. You just need some things like sales and branding to showcase that icon level to the world. And as always, I am Asa Leveaux, dreams and radical